James Melendez. This wine is next. It is from the producer Donnafugata called Bella Sai. It's Frappato Vittoria. Stay tuned and I'll tell you all about this wine. So I've said often that to me, Frappato is an exhilarating wine because the scent and the palate characterization are just splendidly beautiful. And in a blind tasting, I think if you were to taste enough Frappato against other wines, you would really pick out Frappato 100% of the time. It's something that's not as simple or a non-complex grape. It certainly is that, but it really is captivating and beautiful. So let me show you this label here. Bella Sai meaning very beautiful, and all of Donnafugata's labels are beautiful. 2017 vintage from Vittoria, and that's in the southern part of Sicilia. 13.47% ABV, $28 price point. If you look at Donnafugata labels, and I'll put some video reviews right here. So they take significant names from this book here. This is the Leopard, and by Giuseppe de Lampedusa, and it's a fictional account of what happens to Sicilia in the 1800s. And I read this in Italian as well, El Gatto Pardo. Fantastic book, and so when I've read this twice, and to me it's really just that great point of understanding through a fictional historical account of what happened to Sicilia in the 1800s when it leaves a monarchy of the kingdom of the two Sicilies. And I think it's a really important novel to look at. It's beloved in Sicilia and lovers of Italian literature as well. So for me, this is a wine grape that I think is just fantastically, hauntingly beautiful. Now, I looked at Wikipedia and I always like to see what Wikipedia says. And probably 90% of the time, it's really leaning on Jancis Robinson et al. For any sort of information, which is in some ways good, in some ways not so good. Now, the one point that I looked at was the characteristic on this wine grape variety, and that was noted as being very grapey, and that really pointed back to Jancis Robinson et al. And I think that's interesting because that's not the word I would use to describe this variety. So there's lighter tannins to this wine, but that doesn't really mean an assignment of grapey. Grapey really would, in many ways, I don't really find it as a positive attribute. I would say that's simplified or a simple wine grape that has a simple characteristic, as opposed to a fantastically haunting, exhilarating wine variety that expresses beautifully on the palate as well in the nose. And I think this is something that is really intriguing and beautiful. So let me show you a map, first of all, right here, where Vittoria is. If you look at the island Sicilia, it's a triangle basically. Hence, if you look at the map, you'll see the three legs which represent the triangularity of the island itself. So in the southern portion is where the estate is. So this particular estate in Vittoria is 120 to 150 meters above sea level, which is approximately 390 to 490 feet above sea level. And this is representing calcareous soil. And I think this is, that haunting lyrical variety that does come from Sicilia. And really, I think of Vittoria first when I think of Frappato. And I fell in love with Frappato from the very beginning and love it dearly to this very present moment. So there are wine varieties that I didn't find exciting right off the bat, and but Frappato is very different and very hauntingly unique. Now, if you were to taste this blindly, and I definitely recommend doing that, and maybe trying several Frappato and other non-Frappato wines. So someone with very little experience with Italian wines or wine in general would pick out Frappato because it has a great characteristic that can only be Frappato. And I think that's the beauty of this wine grape variety. I think the tannic structure is wonderful because it is, in this recording, you probably can't see how light it is in the glass itself, but that's the harmonizing beauty of this wine. There are things that I'm going to do with this wine, such as enjoy with cheeses and charcuterie, salty cheeses, charcuterie, enjoy this with polpette, which are meatballs, enjoy this with pizza, enjoy it with rotisserie chicken, salmon. There's a lot of things you can do with this wine, and importantly, drink it on its own. This is how I like to enjoy this wine. If I have 2 bottles, I'll have one in the beginning to enjoy with friends and family, and then cascading to food with another bottle of Frappato. So here we go. This is a 94-point wine out of 100 points. And I think when I think of the word grapey, I'm actually thinking that's just such a missed opportunity to think about this grape variety. So this wine grape is really unique, and it really is very Sicilian, but it's also very regional. It's also a linkage between Sangiovese, as Sangiovese is one of the identified parents through DNA profiling. Now, other varieties, which are much more regionally based, such as from Calabria, pinpoint a Calabrian relationship. In many ways, this might really reflect back to the trade relationships between North Italy to its southerly neighbors and regions. And this was historically done, so this is before unified Italia. And this is done probably over several hundred years that this happens. So you have 3 Calabrian grape varieties that are related to this as well, such as the Calabrese de Montenuovo, Galliopo, as well as Cilio Giglio. Now, this wine grape is just absolutely splendid and beautiful. So the nose on this is really hauntingly beautiful and exhilarating. And I love to use that term because I think it's absolutely identified with this wine variety here and this bottling from Donnafugata. So on this, mountain strawberry, a bit of tart cherry coulis, a bit of violets, crushed violets, as well as cedar notes, dense forest, and a bit of tangerine skin as well. Nicely done. And next, the palate characterization. So on the palate, notes of strawberry, a bit of, again, that tangerine skin comes through, as well as raspberry notes, white pepper, dried red rose petals, because it's expressing in terms of a bit of peppery quality to it, especially on the mid palate, and tarragon notes as well. Gorgeous wine. And, keep a lookout for a Frappato. Don't just keep a lookout. Ask your wine merchant to bring it in. And if you're having a fantastic meal, maybe at an Italian restaurant, which are more likely to have a Frappato, ask them for a Frappato wine. Ask for this wine. I think for the value that you're getting from this wine, it's a fantastically memorable wine that I think will be enjoyed by everybody in your party at your table. So thank you for watching. I really do appreciate your support. More reviews to come in this wonderful year of 2019. And, you'll find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and WordPress. Give a like down below, questions and comments down below. And right up here is the subscribe button. So please hit that button if you haven't done so already. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. Salute.